Welcome to week one's aerobic capacity and technique session. So to roll out this session, you'll need either 2 or 3 markers and a timing device. So if you only need a start and a finish marker at the start and the end of your 100 meters, then 2 will be fine. If you wish to have a halfway marker, you'll need your third. And you'll need some sort of timing device, whether that's a watch or your phone, as long as you can carry that with you while you run. And also really important is you're going to need 100 meters of space. So ideally in a straight line, but if it has to be somewhat curved, then that's fine. Hopefully you've got an oval or field nearby that you can use. So the instructions for this, first of all, you're going to have to mark out your 100 meter space. So as I said, with that optional 50 meter marker, which comes in handy for when you're doing your pacing for each effort. You're going to then need to select what timing or pacing option you'll follow. So here's my recommendation. So in the brackets there are the 100 meter times on grass or the same surface you're going to run on. So if you're fairly elite and you can run a 13-second 100 meter on a footy oval, then for each effort here, you're going to range in between 16 to 18 seconds. So that works out to be about 65 to 75% of your best time for that 100 meters. So if you're more intermediate there and can do it sort of 16, 17 seconds, which is a fair chunk of my athletes, then you're going to look at doing each effort in that 20 to 23 second window. And if you're sort of around that 20-second 100 meter time, then you're going to be doing each effort in about 25 or 27 seconds. So that's really important because we want to, there's a target pace we want to work for this. So we want to sort of stick to that each time you do your 100 meter rep. And then, yeah, if we can be consistent with that over the course of this program, we're going to progress the distance or maybe shorten your rest time. So more on that in the future. Obviously, you need to go through your warm-up and then complete your 8 reps of your tempos. And then you have a break and do that all again so that you've got 2 sets there. So warm up, what that looks like. So similar for those that did the acceleration today, but in this time round, you're just going to do reps from the start hat. So you don't have to mark another hat 20 meters away like we did. So you're just going to do 10 walking lunges on each side. So 20 in total, out, just easy jog back. Do that twice. Into your Supermans or Aerobic. So 10 each side. So 20 reps in total. Jog back, do that twice. Grapevines, so 10 steps out. You can either jog back and then flip around, do it the other way, or you can just go up and back facing the same way. So you do both sides. We're going to do some triple switches. So you do 10 of them in total, and then you jog back and you repeat that. And then again, high knees. So I just wanted to show the triple switches here. Harry's going to demonstrate this for us. Really important because this flows in really nicely to what we want to do when we talk about technique for our tempo work, which flows into nicely into our max velocity work on the weekend. So Harry's going to do a great job here. So triple switch, meaning triple 3. So it's a 1, 2, 3 punch. And the switch is just talking about that really aggressive switching action we're going through. So if I can get Harry to go again. So you'll notice here on each rep, that really nice high thigh position. So we're talking about lifting from the front of the hip here. And you see each one almost too high, doing too good a job. So it's 1, 2, 3. So as soon as that leg in the air starts to come down, the one on the ground has to come up. All right, so slow motion. So you can see he does a really good job through there. So a little bit slow there, but then bang, bang, bang. Right, so that's what we're working on there. Rightio. So again, in real time. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Really explosive. So pump those arms, really lift from that hip, nice and quick off the ground. Rightio. So that's our warm-up. Again, if there's anything extra you need to do, then please incorporate it. Just make sure you're warmed up, address any of your issues, and you're ready to go. And if unsure of anything, please reach out or speak to someone. The tempos. So what we're going to do here is 800 meter efforts, and you're going to leave every 60 seconds. So obviously the faster you do them, the more rest you get. But again, I want you to stay within this pacing because we want to keep the intensity low. This is essentially conditioning session, but it's almost, it sort of falls into my low stress day, almost a recovery workout. So we don't want to put that pace up too high and then, stress that nervous system and potentially have fatigue rollover for the rest of the week. So it is supposed to be not a really tough session overall. All right, so please remember that. So I've got an example there. So if you're in that intermediate bracket, so you can run 100 meters on grass, 16 seconds, target time there will be 20 to 23 seconds. As I said, you're only working about 65 to 75% here. So it's, under 3/4 pace. So what you do is, so I've sort of broken it down. If you have that 50-meter target, I've put a 20, so that should be 10 seconds. So if you do your first 50 in 11, and then you do your second 50 in 10, that would give you a total of 21 seconds. So pardon my typo there. So first 50 in 11, second 50 in 10. And that's just because obviously your second 50, you've already got a moving start. Your first 50 has a start where you're stationary, and you've got to obviously make that up, which means you'd have, 21 seconds, which means you'd have 39 seconds rep before you roll into the next minute, right? So that's where you need your watch. You use your watch as you're running just to keep an eye on the pace. So are you sort of sticking to around that 20 to 23 second pace? If you go a little bit quicker, then the next rep just to slow it down a little bit. If you go a bit over, you're going to have to pick the pace up a tad. And then just watch the time, have a recovery at that end. Don't, you can have a bit of a walk, but don't go too far. Make sure you're still at the start line. And then when it hits the minute, you're going to repeat on the way back. And you do that for 8 reps. You have your 2 minutes rest, and then you repeat it again. So hopefully that's pretty straightforward. Just a couple of things on technique. So again, Harry, one of the big common mistakes I see with runners, particularly in team sport, field sports, is what we talk about, really heavy backside action with our mechanics. So what that means is, as we come off the ground, our heel really comes out the back of our butt. So you can see here, Harry's in just mid stance or just past it. And you can see that heel is coming down underneath his butt there. So that picture on the right, what tends to happen is if we overstride and we come back too far, our heel kicks up and then it sort of drops down, and then we tend to overstride out the front. Rightio. So got an example here of Harry showing us that kind of high knee running action that I want us to work on while we do it. So if you don't think about your running technique and you just literally run at this pace, it's not hugely taxing. And like I said, that's a good thing. But to make it a little bit more taxing, to get more out of it, there is a technique element, and I want you really to focus on that. So Harry again, so you can see how he's really lifting up from that hip. Rightio. So slow motion, you can see that heel. If you watch his foot on this first one, see that heel comes up and it's right up underneath his butt. So you get a good view here, side on. So watch that left heel comes up and it's underneath. We're not reaching out the back and sort of kicking ourselves on the back of our backside. As a result, and that comes from, I want you to look at his thigh here, lifting from that hip, nice high thigh position, knee pointing straight ahead. So he's quick off the ground, really light on his feet, and therefore covering the ground really well. So that's something for you guys to work on as you go through this. Hopefully you find it enjoyable. If you are struggling with the 8 reps, then you can drop it to 7 or 6. And then like I said, remember it's meant to be not a really heavy week, this first one. There's plenty of time to progress things. So hopefully find it beneficial, and good luck.